It's not just mine, his or her house. This is our house.
Hello, everyone. My name is Tyrone Lowe. This is my show, The Legends. And in the House of the Legends, I'm coming straight from the UK. DJ Marcia Carr. Hey, Marcia.
Hi Tyrone, how are you?
I'm quite well. How you doing today?
I'm recovering from the corona.
Well, you know what? We prayed on it, so you are healed. You know what I'm saying? So
Amen. Yes,
that's right.
I'm doing a lot better now, thank God. Yes.
Good. We prayed the other day, so I know it's fine. What I like about you is your spirituality. And one day when you hit me up and I joined in, I really got to know you as a person of real spirituality. But besides that, we're going to talk about the beginning of your craft of DJing. So how did you actually get into that craft, Marcia?
Music's always been a passion of mine since I was a small child, since I was about 5 or 6 years old. I'd always be playing around with my parents' records on the gram, as it was called back in those days, at home.
Mm-hmm.
My parents were great lovers of reggae, especially as my mum is Jamaican, and they
Right.
liked American R&B soul labels like Brunswick and Chess and King
Oh,
Records.
you're taking this really
So
back. You're taking us really back.
well, I've
That's
got to
some
start at
ancient,
the beginning. So
yeah,
all of
some
that kind of
ancient.
influenced me, as
Right.
well as my auntie.
Mm-hmm.
She always used to go to and from New York every year, bringing back bag loads of records and have house parties. And so those sorts of things kind of very much influenced me. And
Mm-hmm.
pirate radio in the UK, and also being a natural sort of dancer, I gravitated towards clubland through watching some of my older cousins and just my peers in clubland dancing,
Mm-hmm.
and just started buying my music as a teen growing up as well, using my pocket money to buy 7-inch records and things like that. So that's how it sort of started out for me.
Mm-hmm.
When I got to college, I was definitely a lot more interested in playing music, and I would get asked to play at local college functions as well. And
Mm-hmm.
and my passion just really became even more intense. I'd go to the record shops on Saturdays and hang out with the boys, just standing there, not knowing what I was doing really, but just absorbing the ambience and the essence of everything going on around me. And I'd be one of very few women in
Mm-hmm.
that sort of social setting, really, in
Right.
record shops like Bluebird Records in London, and other record stores that I went to as well. So it's just always sort of grown and expanded since then into other things within the music industry, just generally for me.
Mm-hmm. So, I mean, being a DJ and also a record collector, what artists actually influenced you to really motivate you, and what DJs at the time motivated you to actually say, well, this is what I really want to do, you know?
Well, as I said, I listened to quite a bit of pirate radio
Mm-hmm.
stations like LWR and Kiss FM before it was bought out. People like Paul Trouble Anderson inspired me much as well. I
Mm-hmm.
really would have to say that my auntie, because she wasn't a DJ, but she would come back from New York every year with bag loads of records.
Right.
And as I said, I used to take my pocket money and buy these little 7 inches, which progressed to 12 inches. I had friends who were buying records from shops, as I
Mm-hmm.
understood, and I'd be inspired by them. I'd hear about things like record fairs. I started going to one or two of those.
Mm-hmm.
So there are a lot of different things that came into the pot, but I believe it was always there from my parents'
Mm-hmm.
house to begin with, because they had records everywhere, and I would always be touching them when I shouldn't be.
Okay.
So those sorts of things, DJs like Paul Trouble Anderson, We have a
Right.
DJ in the UK called Greg Edwards. Used
Okay.
to do some all-dayers, and that inspired me as well, because I used to go to those all-dayers as a dancer, just a general punter,
Right.
as a clubber,
Mm-hmm.
and be inspired by those things. But I'd hear records and I'd want to know where I could get it from. So I'd go to my local record shop and ask them, "Have you heard of this record? Where can I get that?" And
Mm-hmm.
it just grew. It just grew from there. I became more inquisitive and being more passionate about what I was hearing Paul Trouble Anderson play,
Mm-hmm.
and Greg Edwards inspired me, and some of
Right.
the other DJs on radio. All of these things together just drove my desire and
Mm-hmm.
hunger to find out more about the music that I was
Now,
dancing
mhm.
to as well.
Well, Marcia, you've been around for a while. So let's take it back. Let's take it way back when you actually did your first mainstream, when you had to actually play for at least 50 to 100 people.
I got paid for a gig in the
Mm-hmm.
West End. I think I can't remember if it was the name of the venue, if it was called Busby's or something like that, but
Mm-hmm.
it was in the West End, and I think I was just about started college, maybe around that time.
Right.
And yeah, I can't even remember how I even got that gig, but I know I was playing in the West End, uh, and I got paid, and people just seemed to like the records that I was playing, which would have been a mixture of hip hop, soul,
Mm-hmm.
boogie tunes, but we just call them probably R&B,
Right.
US New York dance.
Mm-hmm.
That's because I remember the record shops. You go in there and they'd have New York dance, a lot of
Mm-hmm.
records that came out of New York, and I was into hip hop as well. So it was a mixture of all of these things,
Mm-hmm.
and I liked the reactions that I got from the people in these spaces, and quite a lot of them always seemed to be surprised that I was a girl behind
Mm-hmm.
the turntables playing. I always used to surprise people. Even going to record shops,
Right.
most men found it unusual to see women in those spaces. I'm telling you, if it was not just myself, there'd be maybe one other girl sometimes. But for years, I don't remember seeing any women in record shops really. Not even behind the counter, even though I've worked in record shops behind the counter myself. So that gig at Busby's in the West End
Mm-hmm.
led on to other gigs at college. Those were internal student union affairs,
Right.
doing those sorts of events and playing at parties and just somehow getting out there. I think because I was also a club dancer and
Right.
I'd also danced in some pop videos as well. I just got about somehow. I don't know. Yeah, you have to sort of be present in these spaces and just,
Right.
I call it networking,
Exactly. Uh-huh.
mingling with the brothers, the guys. And I thought, well,
Mm-hmm.
yeah, I could do that because I liked what I heard on radio and I was
Mm-hmm.
buying these records and I thought I can do what the guys are doing.
Mm-hmm.
And I just thought it was just strange that there weren't any girls in these spaces, but I just thought in my heart, I
Mm-hmm.
can do what they're doing.
Right. Are there a
And
lot of is there a lot of lady DJs out there that's actually upgraded DJs? Are there a lot? Are there plenty of them? Are there a little bit of
there,
them? Or
there are a lot more now because
right,
in the last 5 to 10 years, there's been a surge of wanting supposed equality
mm-hmm.
and that sort of thing in the space of the music industry generally.
Right,
So I don't know if all aspects, like from somebody working at a record label doing A&R, or if in radio that the playing field is equal in any way. I don't think it is. Not from what I've seen.
right, okay,
Uh, but I was also a music journalist in the late 80s, early 90s,
mm-hmm.
and there I would say maybe there were a few more female writers out
Right,
there in the written press,
mm-hmm.
music press, I mean. But even in radio, I didn't see many. I didn't see many women. There'd be a
Mm-hmm.
few women that went on to do news
Mm-hmm.
and specialist features like that.
Right.
But in the sense of underground dance music, I didn't really come across too many women doing that
Mm-hmm.
until I noticed that at KISS there'd be women in production, like
Right.
productions of programs for radio,
Mm-hmm.
behind the scenes, that sort of thing. But most of the presenters, again,
Mm-hmm.
95% of them were definitely male,
Okay. Well,
and they were
Marcia,
the guys.
we're gonna take a little break, but we're gonna come right
Okay,
back to you. So we're gonna listen
yes.
to one of Marcia's tracks, and stay tuned for the legends. We'll be right back.
It's not just mine, his or her house. This is our house.
Turn around. You ain't really down.
Really down.
Playing the games you do. Someday, everything will be alright. Real and different people make the world go round.
And you know because of you, my dreams are coming true.
That erases my rainy day.
Right now, I don't care who's watching.
For whatever the reason there might be.
With your love by my side, the world will be mine. You're the one for me.
Yeah.
We got some fun people in the house tonight.
This is our house.
Hey, we're back. This is DJ Tyrone Lowe, and I'm here with DJ Marcia Carr. Hey, Marcia.
Good to be back. Part 2.
Listen, man. Excuse me. I said, man, I'm sorry. That's just a a habit I have. But
That's all right. I'm not offended. Don't worry.
okay. Um, do you think there's a difference between the DJs here in the States and there's a difference of the DJs in the States and then uh and then are there a difference between the DJs here in the States and the DJs in the UK?
I
Or do you
think
think
that
this
comes that I think of course there is. It all comes down to personalities of people,
right,
individuals, and obviously with house music and techno starting being birthed in Detroit and Chicago and New
mm-hmm,
York and then New Jersey, and then we picked it up here. I think we then helped the Americans expand the love and the embracement of those dance music genres coming from those places by we showed you the love and then took
right,
it out to Europe and then it helped it grow. So of course there are different calibers of different types and styles of DJs, that
right,
we're just talking about kind of house dance music, aren't we? We're not
right,
even touching on hip hop or anything like that. But
mm-hmm,
yes, I think the the caliber is kind of evident because, for example, DJ Spen or Charisma, I know that they both came from hip hop backgrounds.
right,
DJ Spinner
exactly,
came from a hip hop background, but they're all
mm-hmm,
into house music. They
right,
all produce house electronica, that sort of stuff as well, don't
mm-hmm,
they?
right,
And I wouldn't say that was necessarily the case so much here in the UK.
right,
Apart from people like Paul Trouble Anderson, where he's played the spectrum of black music. He didn't just
mm-hmm,
play house music. He played the entirety, boogie, funk, house, hip hop, soul, reggae
right,
music as a DJ when he started out, as an example. I mention him because he's one of the people who definitely, I would say, inspired me to go on
right,
and go further into the music. But there are a whole horde, a plethora of UK DJs, and in the UK they tend to sort of stick to the sound that they like, and then they
right,
run the gamut of that. I have always had kind of two camps that I've been in:
mm-hmm,
house music, and then besides house music, it's the rest of black music for me. So the funk, the boogie, the disco. Not too much reggae. I do play a little bit of reggae and hip hop and
mm-hmm,
drum and bass jungle, but definitely more on the boogie, jazz, funk, jazz fusion, broken beat side, and
mm-hmm,
then I have a house side. And within that, I won't just play one style of house. I'll play
right,
lots of vocals, uplifting, gospel inspired vocals. I'll play Detroit techno. I'll
right,
play tech house. I've even played sort of minimal and deeper house as well. So it just depends on where I'm booked
right,
to play. And so, yes, we have an array of different styles of DJs here in the
mm-hmm,
UK, even though you'll also have the hip hop DJs and the
right,
reggae DJs, so on and so forth. But within
mm-hmm.
dance music and house music, there are loads of
I can
DJs
imagine,
and even more women now. But
right,
I have my viewpoint about the, some of the women in dance music now.
mm-hmm,
There's a lot of nepotism, and if you scratch my back, I scratch yours, that sort of thing. And I don't necessarily agree with
okay,
that sort of
right,
attitude to have regarding talent, because yeah,
right,
some people are talented and others aren't. But
yeah,
and DJs come and go, don't they? But
yeah, they do. So when I
sometimes the
say to you,
press.
all right, so when I say to you, Tony Humphries, Louis Vega, Kevin Hodges, what comes into your mind?
Tony Humphries, New Jersey legend of a different sort of sound in house music, slightly always concentrating on vocals, playing the song in its entirety. By that I mean, if the song is 10 minutes, he'll play like 8 minutes and
Mm-hmm,
50. He'll play the majority of it rather than just the dub bit and that sort of thing. He's a man about vocals
right,
and inspired, uplifting vocals, gospel sounds as well. And
mm-hmm,
Louis Vega is a mixture of some of that, and then obviously because he's Puerto Rican, so he has some of the Latin
mm-hmm,
influences as well of what probably heard from his peers and his siblings growing up, and also
right,
raised in New York. Um, Kevin Hedge, I've heard Kevin DJ when he's come to the UK, but I knew him before he was DJing because he was part of Blaze.
Okay.
with Josh Milan. And
Right.
when they started out, they had a third member. I've forgotten the guy's name,
Mm-hmm.
but that's when I remember Kevin more so from the sounds that they were making through the music. Some extraordinary, beautiful music that came out on Motown.
Mm-hmm.
Didn't sell well. It didn't do as it should have done. But then they'd make amazing hits that entered the charts, our UK
Right.
charts.
Mm-hmm.
You know, tracks that featured Barbara Tucker and other people. So they're amazing songwriters, and they know how to go deep and dark and
Right.
minimal in quality house. Always hearing essence of jazz and soul in their music, and then they
Mm-hmm.
know how to, you know, do slightly commercial crossover hits of house
Right.
music, which did well in our UK charts. So those are just three American names that you mentioned, but
Right.
you know, I could speak about Jeff Mills on the techno side, or Eddie Flashing Folks, or Juan Atkins, or Robert Wood, or some
Mm-hmm.
of these guys, you know, or how about Black Coffee in South Africa, or DJ Manu, or Kulo de Song, you know, and then we've got lots of people in the UK like Ricky Morrison, CJ McIntosh,
Right.
Dennis Valentine, the late Paul Trouble Anderson, Bobby and Steve.
Mm-hmm.
And yes, they're mostly men because I didn't really come across that many women. We have
If you
got a
had a
few in
chance,
the UK, but not
mm-hmm.
many.
If you had a chance to come to the States, would you come?
I've been to the States several times. I
Have
just
you
haven't
played
been
in?
in
Have you played in
recent
the States?
years.
Have you played in the
I played
States?
in Miami once,
Okay.
twice. I played in Miami twice.
All right.
But I'd love to play. I'd love to be invited to DJ in New York, in Los Angeles, in Atlanta. You know,
Right.
I'd love to come to those places and DJ. I'd like to go to Chicago and Detroit as well
Okay.
because I like people like Kenny Dixon Jr., Moody Man,
Right.
and what's his name from Sound Signature Records, Theo Parrish, all
Right.
these guys. Yeah, so I'm well versed, I think, on quite a lot of these guys. Ron
Yeah.
Trent, I love Ron Trent.
Okay.
You know, there's
My
so
question
many
to you is,
people.
there's a lot of people that's coming up right now that's starting to actually, get into the craft of DJing, producing, or maybe doing production. Any advice for them?
Firstly, if you're not doing it with passion from your heart, then please don't get into the business. I've seen it too many times over the decades. There's fly by nights, people that come and go, and you can kind of almost discern the spirit on them is just to come in to make money, jump
Mm-hmm.
on a bandwagon, something that's fashionable to try and make money out of it, and then they leave, or they go into another genre, and you think, well, you weren't really about the soul essence of dance music in the first
Mm-hmm.
place.
Right.
I've discerned that, so I'm likely to have much more respect for you if I see that you're genuine, rather than just coming from the music from a money making point of view. And yes, it's of course it's lovely to make money,
Mm-hmm.
but it should be from your heart in the first place.
Mm-hmm.
Be patient.
Right.
Sometimes you have to have a determination that when somebody says no to you the first time, you won't just give up. You'll push through and press ahead. I think that's
Mm-hmm.
kind of helped to keep me
Right.
going. Besides my faith, I've always, when people have told me, no, Marcia, you can't do that, or no, you're not going to play there, I just show them to the contrary. I'm not the one to play with in that sense, because I will show you that I am capable of doing it and I will get there. It might take me a bit longer, but I'm so passionate about the music, and also I want to sort of prove to myself, can I actually do this, or am I going to take the word of someone else who maybe doesn't like what I do or sees me as a threat? Am I going to take their word for it and let them hold me back, or am I just going to, with gritted teeth sometimes, keep smiling and push on through? So those things are important. You must have the love for what you're involved in, and be determined. And if you get the knockbacks, the hurdles that come to pull you down, keep on pushing past those. If you're sincere, you will get there, you will get noticed, and you will shine.
Marcia, I want to thank you for being on my show, and hopefully you can come again. Don't be a stranger on the phone. I love talking to you. And this was another
Tyrone, it's
T
been
Love
a
Video
pleasure.
Picture.
It's been a
Okay.
pleasure. Thank you for inviting me on the Legends. I'm not sure that I qualify for the title, but you know what?
It's okay.
I received the blessing, so thank you very much. You
I
guys,
don't discriminate. So
I know you're doing
this
an
was another,
amazing work over there.
thank you. This was another T Love Video production, and stay tuned for other shows. Thank you guys for tuning in. See you guys later.
For the love of house,
The dynamic soul sounds of
for the love of
DJ
dance.
Tyrone Lowe. DJ Tyrone Lowe. DJ Tyrone Lowe.
That's nice, 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 nice,
DJ Tyrone Lowe. The dynamic soul sounds of DJ Tyrone Lowe.
It's not just mine, his or her house. This is our house.
We got some fun people in the house tonight.
This is our house. It's not just mine, his or her house. This is our house.